Do you ever feel drained, even after doing nothing? You're not lazy. Your brain is overloaded. Every scroll, every notification is a tiny chain pulling you away from your dreams. And behind all of this is one chemical, dopamine. Let's talk about dopamine. People call it the chemical of want and desire. But why is that? Well, here is how it works. From the dawn of evolution, your brain has been hardwired with a simple law: reward whatever keeps you alive. Every action that boosts your chance of survival triggers a surge of dopamine, a chemical signal whispering, "Do this again." But here's the problem. Dopamine doesn't care if it's progress or procrastination. It only sees pleasure. That's why one scroll on Instagram feels rewarding. That's why Netflix binges feel comforting. But every hit makes your brain crave more, until you're stuck in a loop. Let's look at an example. You're deciding between reading a book or playing a video game. The game wins because it's designed to flood your brain with dopamine through levels, rewards, and achievements. Occasionally, that's fine, but repeated spikes make your brain crave the game more than growth. That's how addictions form. Whether it's food, alcohol, gaming, or even scrolling. The thing is that dopamine doesn't know what's good for us and what isn't. All it sees is a potential of pleasure without any context, only to get that one hit of dopamine again and again. The terrifying truth is that almost every company in our modern society exploits this deeply rooted reward system. There are millions of experts specifically designing their products and internet platforms to release as much dopamine as possible in order to make us come back over and over again. That's why social media platforms switch from chronological feeds to an algorithm-based feed. And that's why video games have levels and ranking systems to keep us coming back. They give us constant dopamine hits as we jump from one post to the next one, and from one level to the next one. And what makes it even easier for us to engage in social media, junk food, alcohol, drugs, or any other source of instant gratification is that it doesn't take us any effort. We simply have to consume and are instantly rewarded with massive hits of dopamine. It's crazy to believe, but we live in a world which is designed to stimulate our emotions in order to maximize profits. It is scientifically proven that dopamine has a direct influence on the decisions we make and the actions we take. That's why ultimately dopamine controls us on a daily basis. And that's why billions of people unconsciously focus their whole life on consuming instead of creating the lives they actually want to live. And the result? Promotions missed, fitness goals abandoned, side hustles stuck as dreams. Your dreams are big, but your attention span is shrinking. All right, so I honestly believe that this problem is much bigger than we think, and that every single person is impacted by it. And that's why the solution is simple but powerful. A 7-day dopamine detox. Not to punish yourself, but to reset your brain and reclaim your focus. So here are the rules. For the next 7 days, no social media. Delete all social media apps from your phone. No digital entertainment means no Netflix, no gaming, no junk food, which means that you can't eat any unhealthy food like chips or sweets. And yeah, no music, just silence and clarity. So now, as the rules were set, let's go. Day 1, productivity surge. Most mornings begin with noise, music, notifications, endless scrolling. But imagine starting your day in silence. No songs, no YouTube, no social media. Just you, your thoughts, and your work. At first, it feels boring. Your hand reaches for the phone out of habit. But without distractions, something powerful happens. You enter flow. Tasks that usually take hours suddenly feel effortless. And then focus returns. Why do a dopamine detox? So, you might wonder, why would you do a dopamine detox? Because right now your brain is not working for you, it's working against you. Every notification, every scroll, every binge is a dopamine spike. And the more spikes you get, the less motivated you feel for real work. That's why you procrastinate. That's why you feel drained. That's why your side hustle never moves forward. A neuroscience research shows focus drops by 40% under constant stimulation. That's why 70% of population today became dopamine zombies, trapped in endless scrolling, unable to break free. As soon as we get a lot of dopamine from one source, then our brain just rewires and we have impulsive behaviors where we don't even think about it. But we just do it right away, automatically, because our brain tells us, okay, I'm going to get a lot of dopamine from there, so I'm going to do it. A dopamine detox isn't about removing dopamine completely. That's impossible. It's about cutting off the impulsive sources, social media, junk food, endless entertainment. A detox gives your brain the reset it needs to finally choose growth over cravings. This is not about punishment, it's about freedom. Freedom to create the life you actually want. Day 2, presence and energy. I'd say that the second day will just as productive as the day before. Motivation returns. Workouts without music feel harder, but more mindful. Meals taste richer when you're not distracted by a screen. Evenings become calmer, walking the dog, watching the sunset, simply being present. For the first time in a while, you feel alive in the moment. Day 3, breaking the loop. This is the battle day. Your brain screams for stimulation, but resisting here is where the reset begins. Your hand reaches for the phone out of habit, but there's nothing to scroll. Breakfast feels empty without videos. Evenings feel dull without Netflix. This is the hardest stage of detox, boredom. But boredom is not weakness. It's the doorway to reflection. For the first time, you notice how often your brain screams for stimulation. And when you resist, you realize something powerful. You don't need constant dopamine hits to survive. You can sit with silence. You can think. You can breathe. Day 4, replacing toxic habits. Without Netflix or endless scrolling, something surprising happens. Time opens up. The hours you once lost to feeds and episodes suddenly become available. Books that felt boring now pull you in. Hobbies you always postponed, learning a language, building a skill, starting a project, finally get attention. Detox isn't just about removing noise, it's about replacing it with growth. Every minute you reclaim from distraction becomes an investment in your future self. Day 5, building new habits. Every swap is a brick. By day 5, you're building a new identity. It's no longer just about removing distractions, it's about replacing them. Scrolling becomes walking. Coffee and reels become coffee and a book. Netflix binges become short workouts. These swaps seem small, but they compound. Every replacement rewires your brain. Instead of craving cheap dopamine, you start craving progress. And suddenly, the detox isn't punishment, it's momentum. Momentum toward the person you want to become. Day 6, fighting addictions. So, the bad thing about all of the instant gratification sources is that you can very, very easily get addicted to them. Like, many of us spend 6 to 7 hours daily in gaming or social media. I know because I've been there. I definitely had an unhealthy relationship with social media, and as I realized that all of these different things don't contribute to the things I want to pursue in my own life, I really decided to make some changes. Simple but powerful. When you step away, you stop being controlled. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop consuming endlessly and start creating. That's when clarity returns. That's when you realize you're not a prisoner of your cravings. You're the architect of your choices. Day 7, reset and awareness. By day 7, you're not just detoxed. You're transformed. Your brain feels lighter. Sunsets look brighter. Conversations feel deeper. Even silence feels alive. Friends notice you're calmer. You notice you're present. You're no longer living in someone else's feed. You're living in your own life. This is the power of detox. Not escape, but awareness. Not punishment, but freedom. The freedom to choose growth over distraction. The freedom to take back control of your mind, your time, and your future. Summary of the detox. Boredom will tempt you, but boredom is not the enemy, it's the doorway to reflection. Without constant stimulation, you notice the world again. Sunsets, conversations, silence. Your brain resets, focus sharpens, life slows down, and for the first time in a long time, you feel in control. This is the power of a dopamine detox. Not escape, but awareness. Not punishment, but freedom. The freedom to choose growth over distraction. So don't just watch. Start your detox today, because your life is too valuable to waste on distractions. If this resonates, hit like. It tells me you're serious about growth.